So we are on chapter 3 of Taittiriya Upanishad, section 4, right? What's the page number? Anybody has a page number to declare? Mano Brahmeti Vyajanat. Okay, whoever has a book, if you don't have it, let us know.
274.
Okay, 274. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Vavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so we are at a section. It's kind of a little bit repetitious because whole idea was that the Bhrigu is encouraged to by his father to go and contemplate every time he comes with a doubt. But obviously there are a lot of non-spoken things over here, right? Like when he comes back, it's not like the father, like a parrot, must have repeated, oh, go and do the tapa. They must have had long discussions about, hey, this is what I came up with, and then some discussion, debate, and all those things. But the idea is that every time he came to a conclusion, he himself had a doubt about the conclusion, and he wants further explanation. And the father must have told them more data, more this thing, more explanation. That is up to our imagination. And when we come to discussing it, Nikhilanandji gave some tips about, why he must have thought that way. And then he was sent again to do more contemplation. So that theme is continuing. So we have to have patience with that theme, right? It looks like a repetition, but I still remember there was one time Tejomayanandji, was asked, how do we make study groups more interesting? उनको पूछा किसी ने हम लोग के ह्यूस्टन के सेंटर में. He was very funny. He's saying, यहाँ पर डांस करने के लिए तो आते नहीं हैं लोग. So it's a serious subject. So you have to be in that mode also, right? बीच में थोड़ा joke कर लिया, थोड़ा हंसी कर लिया, but it's a serious subject. So I thought it was funny. Okay. So here is a Sanskrit. Everybody must be getting used to it now. This one, long things, huh? Section 4. Manaha Brahma iti vyajanat Manasah hi khalu imani Bhutani jayante Manasa jatani jivanti Manaha prayanti abhisavishanti iti Tad vignaya puna eva varunam Pitara upasasara adihi bhagvo brahmeti tam ha uvacha tapasa brahma vijignasasva. See, these are all repeated words. Adihi bhagvo brahmeti tam ha uvacha. और उसके पहले भी ये 3-4 line is totally repetition. Tapasa brahma vijignasasva tapa brahma iti tapa atapyatah sa tapa apyapyatah sa tapah taptva. So mana is mind, Brahma iti as Brahman, Vyajanat, understood. So he understood Brahma is mind in this one. Manasaha, from mind. He, indeed, eva, alone, khalu, certainly, imani, all these, bhutani, beings, jayante are born. Through mind only all these beings are born. पहले उसने बोला था प्राण से होता है, फिर प्राण का भी बॉस माइंड है. That's what we are going to learn. Manasa by mind, Jatani having been, Jivanti, live. Mana into mind, Prayanti on departing, Abhisavishanti, enter. Iti is thus. Tat is that. Vijnaya, having understood. Punha eva, again. Varunam, unto Varuna. Pitaram, his father. Upsasara, approached. He approached his father and said, Adhihi, teach me. Bhagava, revered sir. Hey Bhagwan, please teach me Brahman. Brahma iti, what is Brahman? To Tama, to him. Ha, then. Uvacha, said. Tapasa, by penance. Brahma, Brahman. Vijignasasva, seek thou to know. Means through tapas you will come to know Brahman. Tapa is penance, and here we should remember tapas means contemplation here. Not standing on one leg or doing some severe thing to punish your body. No. Brahma is again Brahman. Iti is thus. Saha is he. Tapaha, penance. Atapyat, he performed the penance. Sa he, tapa, penance. Taptva, having performed. And then it goes to the next one. Means having performed, he came back again. He was not satisfied. This student said, जब तक मेरे को experience नहीं होता है, मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं. He had that kind of determination, the fortitude, That's what we have to develop. That's why. That's called that mumukshutvam we were talking about. He had the complete mumukshutvam. It is. Okay. So what the different things. So we saw that in the previous one, he thought that pranas were the main thing, and prana, just to revise, that's all it is. Prana, pan, vyanu, dan, saman, all these things. These are like, one is like at microcosm level, but when they talked about the pranas, koshas, they also talk about macrocosm. Because we have a very hard time feeling that प्राणास में मैक्रोकॉजम हो सकता है, वो तो इंडिविजुअल होता है, पर उसका जो सटल सब वो है ना मैटर, वो मैक्रोकॉजम भी है. जस्ट लाइक वी हैव ऑल द 5 एलिमेंट्स इन आवर बॉडी, दे आर कनेक्टेड विद दिस आवर यूनिवर्स. सेम वे प्राणास आर कनेक्टेड, सेम वे माइंड्स आर कनेक्टेड. देयर सीमिंगली वी डोंट understand, but some people have that siddhi to read other people's mind because there is a connection. That's why. So this is something we have to just accept it, because we have a doubt about it, but just right now we should just accept it. That's all I'm saying. And then another thing I wanted to tell, very, very important. When they talk about mind in Vedanta, it is not brain. Because don't get confused with the brain. Brain is just an outer shell that the mind functions through. Because when we die, our mind travels to another body. If you can remember that, then you will have a clarity. Otherwise, you'll have a confusion. Because in the Western world, they are realizing now a little bit about it, consciousness and all that. But otherwise, they just think that when a person dies, his brain is also dead. On one hand, the shell is become useless because the सॉफ्टवेयर वहाँ से निकल गया. अगर एक कंप्यूटर को वैसे तुमने सॉफ्टवेयर निकाल दिया तो हार्डवेयर कुछ नहीं कर सकता, है कि नहीं? Same is with the brain and the mind. So I just wanted to tell that difference. When they say mind, it is something more subtler and it travels to another life. Then we'll understand this verse much better. Okay. So everybody understood that the pranas are also connected with each other. So then he came to know that, when he looked deeply into it, that he realized that in the previous verse, he thought the pranas were the main thing. Then he thought, no. Pranas are not independent. And as we analyze it, you will also agree that pranas are affected, what they are affected by our mind, our thinking. And they are, immediately you will get this. जब माइंड में खलबली होती है ना, प्राण सब उल्टा सीधा हो जाते हैं. तभी आजकल मेडिकल साइंस भी बोलेगा, इफ यू डोंट वांट ऑल द डिजीजेस, मेक योर स्ट्रेस लेस. बोलते हैं कि नहीं? स्ट्रेस इज द कॉज ऑफ सो मेनी डिजीजेस. हाइपरटेंशन हो, ये है वो है, सब हार्मोन्स भी सब मेस्ड अप हो जाते हैं इफ यू आर स्ट्रेस्ड एंड ऑल दैट. सो mind is a boss over here. That's what we have to kind of, they are pointing towards it. And then the way Nikhilananji was explaining is a little more deeper way, that he's saying minds are the one that holds all the vasanas, the sanskaras, and these vasanas and the sanskaras affect our pranas, how they flow, And then going another angle, that there are all these desires in our mind, right? Our mind is the one that pushes pranas to function, because mind is the boss. And you have to contemplate this on yourself, but all the different data will be given by different people. And so to fulfill the desire of our mind, our body and we function. जो enthusiasm हमको आता है ना कुछ भी करने के लिए, तो वो हमारे संस्कार और माइंड की वजह से आता है. और अगर वो नहीं हो, जब व्हाट्स द पर्पस, आई डोंट वांट टू डू एनीथिंग, प्राणास एकदम डाउन हो जाएंगे तुम्हारे. और कोई हमारे रिलेटिव्स आ रहे हैं, कोई पार्टी करनी है, कितना एंथुजियाज्म आता है ना हम लोग को, सडनली प्राणास एक्टिव हो जाते हैं. नींद सब भाग जाती है, बिकॉज वी वांट टू डू इट. So that's why mind is the boss. And then going a little bit deeper about it, that जो हमारा प्रारब्ध जिसको बोलते हैं ना, that why we are born on this earth to fulfill our prarabdha, whatever, things. Pranas are very important in that fulfilling those prarabdha and all that. That all these things in a subtle form are in the mind, and mind activates the pranas. That's how we have to look at it, So that's why he realizes that mind is the boss over here, not the pranas. Like he's changing his whole conclusion now. And then the other way we can look at it, which is very, very obvious to us, that our thoughts and emotion control the pranas. Because the moment we get some excited or upset, what happens to our breathing? Breathing is part of pranas only, hai ki nahi? It is like prana, apan and all is part of that taking air in. Breathing erratic हो जाती है एकदम excitement में. और अगर किसी को गुस्सा आए, ओ बाप रे क्या ब्रीदिंग का हाल होएगा. सारे प्राणास ऊपर नीचे हो जाते हैं जिसको गुस्सा आता है. And then there is a whole science जिनको भी, I think Kamla ji probably knows this much more because she does all this yoga and all that and pranayam, that बोलते हैं कि जब गुस्सा आता है ना, गर्म हवा निकलती है, दिमाग गर्म हो जाता है. And बोलते हैं ना कि कुछ और कोई इमोशंस आता है तो ठंडी सांसें, और एक्चुअली हिंदी में बोलते भी है, कहावत भी है, वो ठंडी सांसें भरने लगा. उसको कुछ दुख हुआ तो फिर वो ठंडी सांसें भरने लगा. सो उसकी हवा भी ठंडी हो जाती है अंदर जाके, हीट कम हो जाती है. So, and then the other thing that they have the flow of pranas, because all these yogis know about it, कि कौन सी nostril चल रही है, लेफ्ट या राइट एंड ऑल दैट, सारे इमोशन और इससे कनेक्टेड है, माइंड से कनेक्टेड है. बस उसको प्राणायाम से वो लोग मैनिपुलेट करते हैं ऑब्वियसली टू बैलेंस इट आउट. बट इफ यू डोंट बैलेंस देन इट विल बी गोइंग ईदर लेफ्ट और राइट. In short, what he was trying to explain, Nikhilananji, that if we can observe it, that mind is the boss. Mind की वजह से प्राण में खलबली होती है, कुछ अच्छा बुरा जो भी होता है, so there's a deep connection between it. Or we can say the emotions control the pranas, even that's okay to say. And he was just saying that sometimes, people who are on deathbed, right, it depends on their strong desire to live a little extra, तो प्राण थोड़े एक्टिव हो जाते हैं. कोई बोलेगा कि मेरा बेटा मेरे पास नहीं है, जब तक वो नहीं आया मैं प्राण नहीं त्यागूंगी, something like that. And that pranas will hold them because mind is so strong. And then once they decide, what, enough is enough, I need to go now, pranas will quit. He was just giving some tips that we may have seen those kind of thing. And then he said something very kind of funny, which it's like a joke but maybe reality also. He's saying, इंडिया में लोग बोलते हैं कि मुझे वाराणसी जाके मरना है, बिकॉज वहाँ पर मेरे को मुक्ति मिल जाएगी. Huh? So this person from Delhi, because this Nikhilanand ji is from Delhi, said this person from Delhi said, okay, they were on the deathbed. So this family को बोला मेरे को वाराणसी छोड़ो, मेरे को वहाँ जाके मरना है. तो उनको ले गए वाराणसी में, वहाँ पर है आश्रम, you can stay there. तो इस वहाँ पर वाराणसी पे गया ये बंदा, तो he was like, nice atmosphere, sattvic khana, and Ganga, he's listening to Bhagwan's name. All the people are very sweet around him, and in the big cities people are like fighting and very rough and all that. And then फिर थोड़ा थोड़ा ठीक होने लगा वो, फिर गंगा जी में जाके वॉक करने लगा गंगा किनारे, तो और भी पवित्र हो गया. गंगा जी में स्नान करने लगा, बोला अरे मैं तो ठीक हो गया. आया था तो मरने, फैमिली ने वापस बुला लिया, अरे दादाजी तो ठीक हो गए. वापस आया, एंड द सिटी का सारा फिर कूड़ा कचरा, सारा बैड एटमॉस्फेयर फिर उस पर हावी हो गया. फिर वो बेचारा दिल्ली में मर गया. It's like he was just saying that pranas के लिए he was giving this thing, that how when the pranas are mind is exposed to something nice, pranas become also healthy. That's what the point he was trying to make. Okay? They are blunt when they say all these stories, but there is a meaning behind it. So I thought that was interesting. So basically pranas are connected with Annamaya Kosh, and mind is connected with the pranas. That's the higher hierarchy, And then we also know pranayama affects the pranas. You can control, balance by doing pranayam. So we know pranas are not independent. That's what the main idea is. So the way he was explaining pranas is, pranas are like the basic structure, फिर उसके ऊपर अन्नमय कोश आता है. Because these yogic people talk about the different nadis and things like that, because the physical structure is on it. And then if you keep pranas healthy, then body will be also healthy. And then he was just saying that just to summarize it, that our thoughts, our emotions, ideas, desire, passion, memories, and all these experiences, these are the things that affect the pranas. All it's a multifaceted thing, but coming all from the mind only. So, and then coming back to the previous section, that Vedas were, what was mind? He was just revising it. When we did the portion of the mind in the koshas, they talked about that mind is made up of all the Vedas and all that. So basically, he was just trying to say, in the Karam Kand of the Vedas, how to fulfill your desire was there. All those things. Because he was connecting the mind with desires. That we are born in this earth to fulfill certain desire, to have some vasanas and all that. And that's why, mind is a controller. Mind is the one because of which we take birth. Because all that masala mind में भरा हुआ है, जिसके वजह से हम लोग इस दुनिया में आते हैं, So we are all born to sustain, and we are born, we sustain, and we are dissolved in the mind from that perspective. Why? Because mind travels to the other world. Is it too confusing, this thing, what I'm saying? Just if we remember this, that they are talking about mind that travels to another life, then you will accept this theory. That's what it is, And of course, the Vedas are saying the same thing. So obviously, we have to try to understand it from our perspective, what it is, So after deep contemplation, he realized that mind was the boss, because all the lakshanas that he said, that, something that is born from it, sustains and dissolves in it. He connected that to mind, and he said, hey, mind is Brahman. That's how he came to the conclusion. And then he was not satisfied with that. He said, no. Mind is not steady. Because the other rule was that unchanging. So, mind to change hota rehta hai, because our sanskaras also change, right? When we come back here on this earth and we try to change our sanskaras to a better one. So then he came to that conclusion, and he was not satisfied, and he came back to his father, approached the father again and said, teach me Brahman, meaning I'm not satisfied, please tell me what to do. And he's repeated like a parrot. that through tapas, understand Brahman, go back. Came too early, भाग के आ गया मेरे पास, और भी तपस करो, ऐसे नहीं बोला होगा उसको, मैं ऐसे ही थोड़ा, I'm just joking. And so he repeated, and Nikhilananji was just saying that the repetition, what they do, it is, why they are stressing on it again and again. Scriptures usually don't do that. They don't repeat things like this the way. If they are repeating, means it's considered very important. That's why they keep repeating. So for हम लोग को भी अच्छे से बिठा लेना चाहिए कि if we want that final experience, we got a contemplation नहीं छोड़ना पड़ेगा अपने को. Continuously we have to do it. So he was just saying that a lot of people are very much attracted to meditation. Or you just बस बैठ जाओ और शांति से बैठ जाओ, तो बोले नींद ही आ जाएगी तुमको ज़्यादा शांति से बैठोगे तो. Why he was saying that just quietening the mind is you're not going to get there. That's a good thing. Nobody's saying don't do it, but you have to do vichar, according to him. Without thinking, without contemplating, you do not get knowledge. If you just sit quietly without thinking, without knowledge, then you might mind get quiet, you might feel happy, but you won't get self-realized. So he was just quoting Vivek Chudamani. He said that if you want purity of heart, then you need to do karma yoga. You have to do your action properly. But if you want knowledge, you got to do thinking. Just by doing karma, you're not going to get knowledge. Just purity milegi. In that pure mind, you do vichar. That's the whole idea. Chintan. So it's very, very important. So, and then we know that he said tapa brahmeti. Tapas itself is Brahman, and it will take you to that. So he went there and did the tapas, and then he came to the conclusion, mind is not the ultimate. Again, he came back. So we will go further. That's where this ends. Okay, we have 10 minutes. We can read. Any question, any comment? Who wants to read? Any volunteers? Falguni ji, would you like to? Muted still. There you go.
I'll try. I'm barely keeping my eyes open. I'm so jet lagged.
It's okay. Then don't do it. I don't want to put pressure on you.
I just came back.
Yeah, you came back. Okay, welcome back. Never mind.
From India, so.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Meena ji, you want to read then?
Okay. He knew that mind is Brahman, for it is from the mind that all these living beings are produced. Being born from it, they all live by it, and on departing, they enter into the mind and become one with it. Having known that, he again approached his father, Varuna, saying, O Venerable One, teach me Brahman. Varuna told him, desire to know Brahman by penance. Tapas is Brahman. Bhrigu performed tapas, and having performed tapas, when he himself rejected the idea that prana is Brahman, he continued his own independent reflections, and when he sufficiently applied his concentrated intelligence, he came to discover in his meditations a subtler factor and understood that mind, which controls the prana, the eternal cause of things, is the Brahman. He argued that mind colors our perceptions. A worried mind obstructs digestion, evacuation, and even circulation. Thus, the intimate relationship of the mind and prana as master and slave is very evident.
So this is, now we discussed it in detail, that mind is the boss and pranas are directly related to it, and you can manipulate the pranas by the mind.
Yes. Even in this very Upanishad, we were told that the creative activity was preceded by thought. Let alone the work of the artist, even to write a note to a friend of ours, we must first of all have in our thought a definite idea of what we must write. And then alone can the activity of transcribing the thoughts into words takes place. Thus, Bhrigu decided that mind is the source of all creation, that mind feeds the continuity of existence, and that when the mind gets divorced from life, it gets released from the body and continues to exist as a mind. By an act of the mind alone, man comes into this body, etc., are statements of the Shruti herself.
So we learn from the scriptures that subtle body, what does it consist of? Mind, intellect, and vasanas or impressions. So when the subtle body gets separated from the physical body, usko bolte hain death, and the body disintegrates because that has no use left for that body, right? This fact that we know as a Vedantic student now. That's why he's saying that mind is Brahman, because the mind mein fir merge ho gaya, the person. Body is just a shell, it's gone, and mind is the boss.
Where are the vasanas reside now? I mean, because...
Vasanas resides in the mind.
Vasanas in the mind, because it's a mind, intellect, the four things are ego, and the fourth is the chit, the memory.
Yeah, it can. This is what it is. It resides in the mind, but intellect also becomes part of it because intellect wants to pursue those desires, right? Okay. So because when we did the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, or was it 3 or 4? I don't remember. I think it was 3, when he said that our likes and dislikes, they reside in our senses, mind, and intellect. So if the likes and dislikes, which are like part of the vasanas,
right? That understand, because that decides the factor, and therefore that gets to the mind to say whether you like or dislike, and pursue further into action. Okay, but when we go, where are the vasanas in the memory? Are the vasanas in the mind? Are the vasanas in the intellect? That's what I don't get it.
I think that is like a package. Ekdam technical, even I won't be able to tell you. It's like a mind, intellect, and vasanas is like a package deal you go. But vasanas express through the mind. So vasanas are actually subtle, because that's a very good question what you're asking. Vasana is called Karan Sharir.
Yeah.
So vasanas are actually subtler than the mind and intellect, but they express through the mind and intellect.
True, because that's the higher one, and then it comes to the intellect, and then to the body.
Yes.
So
So technically speaking, you are right that vasanas are literally independent of mind and intellect.
Intellect as well. Okay.
Because in the next my guess is going to say that vasanas are the boss. But in the beej form, हम लोग आए क्यों हैं इस धरती पे, सोचो जरा.
Yeah, see, that's in the seed for unmanifested seed form. That's true.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, but I realized what you just said, because I can see the chart.
Yes.
And I can see the causal body, and that's the seed mind, and that's the vasanas that they come from.
And vasanas, they express in mind and intellects as likes and dislikes.
True. Right.
And that's why, I like this, I want to go after it. I hate this, I don't want ever see this again. All those feelings starts coming,
Right.
Yeah. I like this person, so I want to go and give this person a hug, and I hate this person, I don't want it to come to my party. All the likes and dislikes.
Yeah, thank you. But again, though this conclusion is quite appropriate, when it was brought up upon the anvil of his deeper meditation, he found that it cannot stand the scrutiny of clearer thought. Mind is, at best, only an organ of cognition, and as such, in all its activities, it depends upon an agent who controls it and dictates it to its saner conclusions. Again, mind is an effect. It has a cause other than itself. And again, it has no self-luminosity, but it shines only in some borrowed light. It is very well known that no thoughts ever remain the same. Each thought has a beginning and an end. And if at all, the mind has an existence as an entity, it is only in the continuity of its changing thoughts. In this vector of changes, it is essentially finite and therefore cannot be the supreme Brahman, the changeless substratum upon which alone all changes are possible. Therefore, it could not be Brahman, the uncaused cause, the eternally perfect. Therefore, Bhrigu again approaches the teacher to check up whether he was fallen away from the grand road of right thinking into the bylanes of misunderstanding and unphilosophical confusions.
Swamiji's language is very powerful, how he expresses. So he just creating for the next verse, because the whole idea was that he thought that mind was the boss, and then he realized, no, mind may thoughts say, but thoughts are changing, and I'm looking for that changeless.
Yeah.
So immediately he realized that, hey, and then mind is a reflected consciousness. Remember that when he
Yes.
said is borrowed light, that's what it means. That mind is the main consciousness is when it reflects in the mind, and the mind gets connected to the physical body. That's why the person becomes alive, because
Yes.
of that consciousness. The moment the mind quits, reflected consciousness is gone. So that's another thing that we have to remember. So we all came to the same conclusion through this churning of the thoughts, that mind looks like a boss, but there is another boss above it. I'm not reaching to the final boss yet.
Yeah, when he says, when it was brought up to the anvil of his deeper meditation,
Yeah,
that's when
exactly.
you see that itself, that there's something behind that which is, constant is always there.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yes.
So,
I think that one of the things from here is, even if somebody says, oh, God is this, you just don't take it for granted like that. You go and do your own thinking and
You
clear
have to.
all your doubts. Otherwise, you will say it will not sink in properly at all. Just because kisi ne bol diya, God is all pervading, God is this, you sit and chant and all, nothing is going to happen. That's what they're trying to tell us.
So most of our time should be, I think, in not in meditation, but most of it, in thinking of our clearing our doubt.
Until it comes to a point that I don't need to think, I believe it in 100%. Then the meditation will, that's exactly what they are saying. See, we think that we got it, but we are not 100% convinced. Right. Because our teacher used to say, if you were 100% convinced, your actions will show it. Oneness. Does your action show oneness? No. We still have likes, dislikes, we still favor people, we still do all that. We are not like saints, right? Who सबको एक नजर से देखते हैं, ऐसा हम लोग थोड़ी अभी. So अभी भी कहीं है हमारा डाउट. जब वो एकदम पक्का हो जाता है ना, उसके बाद वो अपने आप विचार बंद हो जाएगा. विचार कब होता है? When I want to convince myself of something. Think about it. That's when I will be thinking. I want to block all loopholes from hey, maybe this, maybe not this. No, everything is totally clear, like a crystal clear water. Then vichar band ho sakta hai. But until then, he say continue thinking, contemplating.
That means all our likes and dislikes have to go away.
Yes.
There should be no likes and dislikes.
It's not. See, this is what it is. Like the way I understood after listening to Swamiji and all, you cannot get rid of likes and dislikes until you are in this body. Like if I like certain food and I don't, but they tell you to rise above it. See the difference? You have them, but it doesn't affect you. That's the trick over here. Because if you say get rid of likes and dislikes, physically it's not possible.
True, very true.
Yeah.
You rise above it.
You rise above it because it's not important.
Yes.
Sometimes, I'm just giving an example. It's maybe a crude example. Like, बोलते हैं कि friends, so if you don't like somebody, okay, tomorrow you just forget about them, ठीक है. Relatives, you can't get rid of them because they might come in your house even if you don't like. And it's even if I don't like, I got to do my duties. I got to hug them. I got to do all that, That's rising above your likes and dislikes,
Yes.
So.
I mean, it's not just that the world itself. There's so
Exactly. There are so many things. And so the person who has kind of going in this path, slowly he realizes that these likes and dislikes are not that important. That's why you kind of rise above them. You know?
Yes. Thank you.
Any question, comment? Okay. Great. So we will see you next time. Everybody had a great week. Everybody have a great week. Hari Om. Oh, closing prayer, sorry. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, now we can depart. Hari Om.